Hi, today I'm gonna show you my COC Discharge character. First I'm gonna show you the clear speed of it, maybe you haven't seen it. It also deals a lot of boss damage too. I managed to kill all the 7 Uber Bosses on this, so it's very potent on damage. I'm gonna just rush to the boss, show you how I kill the boss. You see the clear speed very good, you have a lot of action speed, and the boss just melts. So yeah, you have a lot of damage, you have a lot of tankiness. You're playing as a Trickster. This one is a Trickster. Trickster's very strong this league. Everybody should know that. There's a good reason most people are playing Trickster. This build uses a few mechanics from the Trickster, the spell suppression and the chance for the energy shield recharge to start when you suppress spell damage is really strong, together with Wicked Ward, and the Overleech from Trickster also really strong. Instant Leech is kind of strong with Trickster. I'm using a Militant Faith setup to get the Inner Conviction Keystone. On this one it's important to get reduced mana cost of skills, because your Discharge costs a lot of mana, 20 mana. You activate it like 10 times a second, so you have like 200 mana cost per second, so you really need to get mana. Mana management on this build. Let's address the elephant in the room. Mage Blood. Do you need a Mage Blood? No, you don't. I don't think so, at least. You can make it work with the Tides of Time build, or maybe a rare build to fix your resistances and stats a little easier. Both should work. Of course, you don't use flasks with the flask with the enkindling orb. Instead, you use one with instilling orbs. Should work. You don't need a Mage Blood. Makes the build stronger. Yes. Tankier. Yes. Do you need it? No. Next thing you need that is really important is chance you would gain up to maximum power charges instead of just getting one power charge. You get it from this Precursor's emblem. You could get up to 45%, but those are really really expensive. Just copy one with your Calendar's Touch. I bought this one. These are really rare. I bought this one for like 5 divines, I think, so it's not too bad. I think you should find one on the market. The increased damage per power charge is nice, but you don't need it. The boots I'm using, the Corruption Implicit is really strong if you're using Volt's Devotion. You can use a Volt's Devotion, but 25% chance to get maximum power charges. So with both rings that are 60%, with this one 80%, 85%, and the last one is the helmet. It's a Warlord Shaper helmet with the 2 modifiers I'm using on that are the elevated Warlords, plus 1 power charge and another 10% chance to gain up to maximum power charges, and the suffix, the increased elemental damage taken. It's not too important, but yeah, the power charge mod is really good. It gives you a 95% chance to get up to maximum power charges, since Discharge scales per power charge removed. It's very important to get always have the maximum power charges. With Equality you get chance to not remove charges when dealing damage with Discharge, and with those items I showed you, you'd have permanent uptime of your power charges. You could use Volt's Devotion to get endurance charges too. Works really well with Discharge of Misery. Gives you a lot of fire damage, or a little bit of fire damage, and more area. Gives you power charges, makes you tankier. Also nice. For damage I recommend using Replica Dragonfang's Flight. Helps with your mana reservation, helps with the attribute requirements, and also gives you a little bit resistances. Volt's Devotion gives you a little bit more. It's preference. You can use either one. Another very important part for the build is these jewels. These Forbidden Flesh jewels. You get Unstable Infusion. I'm going to show you on POB what this node actually does. It is an Assassin node. It gives you +1 maximum power charge. That is a lot of damage. That's like 20% more damage. And it gives you power charge uptime. Really important for this build. if you don't have these two jewels, the Forbidden Flesh and Flame, do not play Trickster, play just Assassin instead, but I think I paid 1 Divine for each, so there should be no problem getting these nodes. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, next thing is really important. Another elephant in the room. Do you need this one, the Light of Meaning with Energy Shield? No, you do not. You can just remove it. It gives me a lot of ES, yeah, but I don't scale my damage with ES, just tankiness. You can also use a lightning damage one, gives you a lot of damage. Should be really cheap. If you don't have this one, don't sweat about it. Also, really important, Watcher's Eye. I recommend getting Critical Strike, Chance on Wrath, and minus mana cost with Clarity. Helps with mana sustain and your crit chance, because you really want to have 100% crit chance on your Cyclone. Another really important part is the Bound by Destiny. Gives you a cooldown reduction if you have 2 Shaper items. I'm using a Shaper weapon, and my helmet is Shaper, so I get that 19% cooldown recovery rate. I am also using Awakened cast on Critical Strike, level 6, with the Mastery, the Crit Mastery, to get +3 to all critical support gems, so I get level 9. That is 34% cooldown recovery rate. Really important with cast on crit is, I'm gonna link you this Reddit guide. It's a little outdated, but the basics still hold up. If you have 52% cooldown recovery rate, you get another custom crit breakpoint. I'm going to show you in PoB why that is important. And important is that you have 52% cooldown recovery rate or more. You need 10.1 attacks per second. If you have less cooldown recovery rate, you need this attacks per second, but I really recommend getting to this one. I use that with my Awakened cast on Crit level 6 and my Bound by Destiny. If you do not have Awakened cast on Critical Strike level 6, just use Abyssal Jewel with 3% cooldown recovery rate in this slot. Also works. Okay, I'm going to show you in PoB why that matters. You see my Discharge of Misery, you see my Cyclone that has 10.1 attack rate, or 10.18. It also works. My Discharge of Misery has 9% effective trigger, or 9, almost 10 attacks per second. If I just reduce this by 1, so I missed the breakpoint, you see I lose a lot of damage, only 5. It just doubles my damage. See? So if I only had a level 5, as I said, use cooldown recovery rate Abyssal Jewel on this slot, and you're done. Okay. Next thing we're gonna talk about is the shield. Also nice. Rare one would be better with the synth implicit. Each power charge is like 20% more damage, so get power charges. This was really cheap. Also, the importance of attack speed is, you see my Cyclone, 10.1 attacks per second. If I just get one attack speed node like this one, 10% attack speed, I get more attack speed, and it screws with my breakpoints a lot. See, I lose a lot of DPS because I lose trigger rate. So try to get to as close to 10.1 attacks per second as possible. To do that, you could use different base weapon types than this. I use a Spiral Foil or the Jewel Foil, both work. But you could use a Dagger or Claw, should work as well. This one gives you crit multi as an implicit, so it's really nice. How I crafted this one, it was actually not too hard. You just get a non-influence base, or a non-influence base, and you use Deafening Woe Essence on it, because then you get the spell damage roll. You use these essences until you get crit chance and attack speed. You do not need tier 1 on both. Tier 1 crit chance is nice, but if you use a dagger, maybe you need even less. Just PoB it. how much you need to get to the breakpoints. Tier 2 works just fine. I tested it. Just works fine. It's way easier to hit. So you just roll slam this one, this weapon until you get the crit and attack speed you need. Then you just craft hits cannot be evaded if you have a free prefix. And then the last step, I used Shaper Exalted and slammed the melee splash on it. This might take you a few tries. You can try to look for these weapons and just buy one, or just buy a base with a free prefix and craft the hits cannot be evaded on it. Okay. For my gloves, I just used a fractured base, crafted fractured warlock gloves, crafted it with woe essences until I hit another good prefix. Then I did prefix cannot be changed. Veil Chaos slammed it for the crit chance and crafted increased energy shield on this. And yeah, this should not be too hard to craft. Crit chance is nice, it's not important. You can just buy gloves, you can try to craft them. The implicits are nice for the spell suppression cap and are nerfed for increased damage taken for spell damage. If you're using a Volt's Devotion, also really works, helps you with clear speed, gives you tankiness. I really recommend getting +1 endurance charge on these. I think I paid 1 divine for these, or yeah, I think I paid 1 divine, really cheap. Okay, let's get to the helmet. I'm gonna show you how I crafted the helmet. First thing you're gonna need is a random Warlord base. You can just try to shop for these with +1 power charge. Should not be 2. You can try to make one. The first thing we're doing is elevating. Try to elevate the power charge mod. For that you need 2 of Warlord's mods on an item. You can just try to look for these and buy them. I think I saw bases for 2 divines, so not that expensive. Or you could just try to buy one base that has the elevated mod. So we're gonna just use Orb of Dominance. It's 50-50. I lose. I would need to buy another helmet, but since this is a simulator, we can just reverse it and do this until you get the elevated mod. So the only Warlord's mod on this item is the elevated power charge mod. Next thing, this base does not matter. I just picked a leather hood or whatever. This base does not matter. You need a second helmet. Just buy a Lich's Circlet. Doesn't really matter. Just buy a random one or one with more than 20% quality if you want to spend the extra divines. And yeah, just use a Shaper Exalted on these to make them Shaper influenced. Shaper influence is really important to activate your Born by Destiny jewel for the extra cooldown recovery rate. And now you're going to use alteration orbs until you hit this mod. If you really want to go the extra distance, you can elevate this one too. But I didn't do that because I don't care that much about 3% increased elemental damage taken. And in the next step, what we're going to do is we're going to use a Awakener orb to make this shitty base with the good mod into a good Lich's Circlet base with the Shaper mod. And if you're lucky, this would be insanely lucky. I would love to get this in-game because I have an open prefix. You can just craft energy shield on it. Yes, energy shield on it, and get the max roll, and you're done. If you have a free suffix, you can just multi-mod it and craft increased energy shield and this mod as well. You could get both. That would be nice, but this craft sucks, so let's hope you just get lucky. And this is how I crafted my helmet. Would I recommend this build? If you want to play Discharge, yes, I would recommend this build. If you just want to destroy the game and kill all Ubers or tier 17s, I did all content on this. You can just use like a Smite Trickster. Probably probably just works for the same investment twice as good, but this is fun. I mean, this off meta is fun. Last thing, but do not skip on this. This is by far the most important part. It's the mercenaries, and of course, I'm abusing the Doryani prototype mercenary because the nearby enemies have lightning resistance equal to yours. My mercenary has minus 200 lightning res, so every enemy that is around my mercenary has minus 200 lightning res. I linked the equipment in the POB. I'm gonna link in the description. But how I got this is with these rings. Just get rings with minus lightning res. Actually, the perk store is not that important for this build, since Discharge does not have that bad lightning damage. It's not 1 to 1k, it's not because 1 to 1k, but 300 to 1k, so it's a damage upgrade, but it's not too important. If you don't want to spend that much on these ranks, just get an amulet with minus lightning resist. Those are cheap. There are two mercenaries you can use. Very important that the mercenary has breath aura. You can either use the Stormhand Int mercenary or the Strength Int Fallen Reverend with breath. Both work. Doesn't matter if they are 84, 83. Yeah, both work. You can just use them, get minus 200 lightning res, cap the other resistance, try to get as much armor as possible and as much chaos resistance as possible. Yeah, and I used these implicits, extra regen, and this mercenary works really well. I gave him Code Iron Point so he doesn't kill himself to reflect. I use the Whispers of Doom Anoint on my perk with Store to get another curse, because he uses conductivity. You don't need, because enemy lightning resistance is 200, minus 200. I use Vixen's Entrapment to get Enfeeble on hit. You don't need that, but it helps a little. So he has curse limit of 3, so I'm still available to curse with my Assassin's Mark. Few other things for custom crit that is really important. Get 52% cooldown reduction, get 10.1 attacks per second, and also get 100% crit chance with your Cyclone. And those are the basics. If you do all that, I think you should be able to clear most of the content. And what's fun about this build is that every little investment you make, every little divine you spend, just gives you a lot of clear speed, makes the build a lot better. There's still room for this guy to be optimized. I could get a better Precursor's Emblem. There are ones with +1 power charge, but I don't think I'm gonna buy those because they're like 500 divines. I don't think I want to spend that. One thing you could also do is to get the Shaper influence, so you can skip out on the Shaper influence on the weapon and just use a fractured base, is try to chance Inya's Epiphany with Shaper influence. Should take you a few thousand, maybe use Omen of Fortune if that's worth, I don't know. Of course you're gonna lose the implicits then, so that's the trade-off, but weapon should be way easier to craft. Just it just works. Last thing I'm gonna do is go on Pure Ninja and show you what all the other people are doing that are playing Discharge of Misery, because Trickster is definitely not the only version you can play. You see people are playing like Assassin with a lot of damage. He's using a crazy Precursor's Emblem. Yeah, I'd love to have that. That explains his damage. But yeah, he lacks. Of course he's not a trickster, so he lacks a little bit of recovery and tankiness. You can also look at the Elementalist. Should also be really strong, but I really like Trickster this league. There's a good reason Trickster is the most played Ascendancy this league, because it's very, 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 very strong. And yeah, just play Trickster. I really like the tech with the Forbidden Jewels. And yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to hit me up. If you know of any better ways how to craft the equipment or know how to optimize the character for a reasonable budget, please hit me up. I'd love to know. Upgrades I'm looking at is getting a rare shield with the power charge implicit. Hopefully I get a one that's affordable. Looking for better precursors emblems, of course, but I don't think I'm gonna get a better one. And maybe recrafting the helmet should be a good upgrade. Getting a better Watcher's Eye with a third useful mod would be nice. Getting a better corruption implicit on this one would be nice. Maybe get a better jewel than this one. I mean, this is just a 3 stat. Crit multi would be a lot better. One thing you also can do is, if you struggle with your mana, is just, and you don't have this Light of Meaning, just use your Militant Faith, not up here, but down here, and get Inner Conviction here, and you get a lot more mana recovery because of the reduced mana cost per 10 devotion. With this one, my Discharge only costs 50 mana, and up here in my original spot it costs 20 mana. So it helps a lot with your mana. Also for mana, this node really helps. 5% instant leech is nice. There's a good reason they nerfed this. This small node is actually really strong because you have a lot of attack speed. Yeah. All in all, very nice build. Very cool build. You get stun immunity from your flasks. You get curse immunity from your flasks. You get crit immunity from this mastery. Yeah, not crit immunity, but if you're fighting one boss, he cannot crit you. That's not crit immunity, but you get the point. I use a Runegraft here with the 10% increased global defenses. If you struggle with attributes, just use a different one, or just pick a node here, a mastery node. One thing you could also do is change the ascendancy nodes, and if you struggle on getting to the 10.1 breakpoint, get this node and skip on Polymath. You lose a lot of damage, a little bit of recovery, but maybe that's an option. To be honest, I do not recommend this. I'm also looking at maybe getting a Animate Guardian setup, but I don't know if I want to do that. So that are the plans for the next how I'm gonna progress. And yeah, have fun playing this build if you want to do it. This would probably be the best league to do it. I don't think we're gonna get to keep the mercs in the next league, and they just recently buffed Discharge of Misery, so why not use it? Anyways, feel free to hit me up, and see ya.